With this swing tip, we're going to have a look at what the main advantages are of having a hybrid golf club over your standard irons or your longer irons. And hybrids are so much easier to hit than these longer irons because they're basically the best of both worlds of a fairway wood and an iron. They're a hybrid of a fairway wood and an iron. So you've got the length of the shaft of the iron, making it very, very easy to control the club head, but you've got the club head of the wood, which is a much bigger club head, making it a lot easier to hit. So main advantages are, with this club, the club head is a lot bigger. So initially when you set this club head down next to the ball, because the club head looks bigger and you're not looking at a very thin, narrow top line on an iron, you just confidence-wise, you're going to feel like you're going to be able to connect with that ball. And also, because the club head's bigger, you can see much more of the loft of the club than you would with the iron. So the loft is much more apparent, making you much more confident that you're going to get the ball into the air. Okay, next advantage that we've got with the hybrid over the irons is because it's got this much bigger club head. If a club head's much bigger, it has a much bigger sweet spot. So you've got a much larger area to be able to strike the ball from compared to a much smaller area on your longer irons. So that makes this golf club much easier to hit, and it's a lot more forgiving. You can be slightly off centre but still within the sweet spot here, whereas with your standard iron you've got to be absolutely bang on, making it more difficult to hit from the middle. Okay, next advantage we've got with this club is because the club head's bigger, the centre of gravity for this club is much lower in the club than it is for the iron, and that makes it a lot easier to get this club airborne. So when you strike with this club, the ball's going to fly at a much higher launch angle, really get the ball up into the air, and the more the ball's up in the air and the more it's going forward, the further you're hitting the ball. With your standard irons, the centre of gravity isn't as low, so it's more difficult to get the ball airborne. You've got to swing the club a lot harder to get the same sort of performance from it. Okay, moving on, we're now going to look at the fact, well, with this bigger club head, it's got a much increased moment of inertia. Now, moment of inertia just means the club's ability to resist any twisting effect. So if you're looking at this golf club and you're hitting the ball off the toe, in an iron, what would happen is this area of the golf club will slow down, but this area of the golf club where there's no impact won't slow down, so it'll flip the face. The club won't be able to resist this twisting effect. However, with this hybrid club, because the club head's so much bigger, the centre of gravity can be pushed away from the club face and more towards the edge of the club on this side, so the club's able to resist that twisting effect. So even if you don't hit from the centre, the club's able to resist this twisting effect from off-centre hits, meaning you'll hit a much straighter golf shot. Okay, so we've got a much bigger club head, a much larger sweet spot for you to hit from, lower centre of gravity, and this resisting the twisting on off-centre hits, making this a much easier golf club to hit. It's much more forgiving. Okay, finally we're going to look at this and say that the leading edge here, so the bottom of the club, hasn't been designed to cut into the turf like it has on a standard iron. So with the standard iron, it's very easy to get the iron to dig into the turf and to lose all your club head speed because it goes into the turf. This club's not designed to dig into the turf, so you'll strike the ball cleaner, but also it'll glide over the turf more and you'll keep your club head speed up, meaning that you'll hit the ball a lot further. So hybrid clubs, when it comes to, well, should you hit an iron or a hybrid club? If you're struggling to hit your irons, hybrids are so much easier to hit, so much more forgiving, that really you just want to look at replacing those difficult to hit clubs with a hybrid. And if you have a look at the Thomas Golf website, you'll see there's a variety of clubs on there. They do every club in every loft, from driver all the way through the bag, right down to the wedges, so you can replace any of those clubs that are difficult to hit with a much easier, more forgiving hybrid. Really will help you improve your golf game, you'll get back to enjoying playing, and you'll lower your scores.